No double bogeys today. Be the golf ball. Let the club do the work. Cal was about to take a swing. There it was. A loud, annoying alarm interrupted him. He ran out of social credits for the day. Something must have happened. It was late. He sent in the quick payment, hit the ball and called it a night. Back at it tomorrow. Cal came here often. The rusted golf club glinted under the artificial light of Cal Briggs' small apartment. He ran his calloused fingers along its grip, savoring the familiar texture, the only connection he had to the life he loved. In a galaxy dominated by alien overlords, where every aspect of existence was measured in social credits, golf was no longer just a sport. For Cal, it was a lifeline. Cal had spent his years meticulously earning just enough social credits to maintain his membership at the one remaining human-approved golf course on Earth. Society had deemed golf non-essential, a derelict of a primitive past, and heavily taxed anyone indulging in such frivolities. But to Cal, there was nothing frivolous about it. The swing of the club, the sound of the ball slicing through the air, it reminded him of a time when life was simpler, freer. Now, it was a luxury he fought tooth and nail to keep. Most of the crew in Cal's work detail mocked him relentlessly, still swinging sticks at little balls. "Old man?" sneered Harv, a younger worker whose obsession with climbing the social credit leaderboard left him blind to anything outside the system. "You could spend those credits on something useful, like better rations," Cal grunted, not looking up from his work, recalibrating a gravity stabilizer in the facility's maintenance bay. "You keep your protein bars." "Harv, I'll keep my peace of mind." Every day was the same grind, mindless labor in exchange for just enough credits to stay within the system. But Cal played the game carefully, never stepping out of line, ensuring he could afford his weekly visits to the course. There, among the rolling greens, he found solace. The alien overlords who monitored human activities left the golfers alone, considering them harmless enthusiasts wasting their hard-earned credits. Cal liked it that way. One evening, after a long day of work, Cal arrived at the course only to find a new sign posted on the gates. Social credit requirement doubled, effective immediately. His stomach sank. Doubling the credit cost meant his weekly visits would be cut to one every month, maybe less. His grip tightened on the club slung over his shoulder. "They keep pushing," he muttered under his breath. "One day, they'll push too far." Cal turned back toward home, his mind racing. If the system wanted to crush his spirit, it had underestimated him. As he walked through the crumbling streets of the city, his thoughts drifted back to his engineering days, to an old project he'd worked on involving gravity manipulation and energy fields. It was dismissed as a pipe dream back then, but something about it stuck with him, something he hadn't considered for years. Arriving at his cluttered apartment, Cal dug out a stack of old notebooks from under his bed, flipping through pages of diagrams and equations. Among them, a crude sketch of a golf ball arcing through the air caught his eye. He chuckled softly. "Maybe I've been looking at this all wrong." He grabbed a ball and set up a makeshift course in his living room, arranging chairs and cushions to act as obstacles. With each swing, he visualized the gravitational forces at play, his mind piecing together how the ball moved, how small shifts in force could change everything. The swing of his club wasn't just about the game anymore. It was about understanding a fundamental truth he'd missed all those years ago. The next morning, Cal headed to the facility early. He managed to sneak into the restricted zone, where the alien energy grids powered the station. As he stood near the humming machines, he tossed a small metal sphere into the air and watched as the grid's field warped its trajectory. A spark of realization ignited in his eyes. This was it, the key to a revolutionary breakthrough. He grinned, gripping his golf club tightly. "Let's see how far we can take this." Cal Briggs stood in the shadow of the humming alien energy grid, the faint blue glow casting an otherworldly sheen across his worn golf club. His heart raced as he prepared to test his theory. He placed a small, modified ball, fitted with a lightweight sensor, onto a makeshift tee he had crafted from scrap. With a practiced swing, the club struck the ball cleanly, sending it soaring into the energy field. As the ball entered the grid's field, it curved unexpectedly, arcing upward in a smooth, unnatural trajectory. Cal's jaw tightened in focus as he watched the ball hover momentarily before accelerating sharply and vanishing into the distance. His handheld monitor beeped, showing readings that confirmed his suspicion. The energy field amplified the ball's momentum, creating a force that could potentially be harnessed for greater applications.
Gotcha,
he muttered, a mix of satisfaction and disbelief in his voice. The implications were staggering. If gravity fields could enhance momentum this way, they could be used to improve propulsion systems, increase energy efficiency, or even create a new power source. But Cal wasn't the only one who noticed his experiment. Hidden cameras embedded within the grid had recorded the entire test. The alien overseers, who monitored the facility's activities, were already alerted. Later that day, as Cal returned to his station, he felt the heavy presence of suspicion from his co-workers. Harv, who had always been quick to ridicule, seemed unusually quiet, his eyes darting toward Cal's workstation. Whispers of unauthorized experiments had started circulating among the crew. Though no one dared to confront him directly, Cal kept his head down, acting as if nothing had changed. But the overseers were less subtle. That evening, as Cal sat in his apartment refining his calculations, his door slammed open. Two towering alien enforcers entered, their glowing armor reflecting the dim light. They spoke in their guttural language, but Cal didn't need a translator to understand their intent. "You think you can barge in here without a warrant?" Cal said defiantly, rising to his feet. His heart pounded, but he forced himself to remain calm. He knew this moment would come. The aliens seized him without a word, dragging him through the winding corridors of the station and into a dimly lit interrogation room. Seated before him was Director Maltrak, the alien commander overseeing the energy grids. Maltrak's reptilian eyes narrowed as he studied Cal, his long fingers tapping rhythmically on the metal table. "You tampered with restricted technology," Maltrak hissed, his voice low and menacing. "Explain yourself." "Human." Cal leaned back, feigning nonchalance. "I wasn't tampering. I was testing a theory." Maltrak's brow furrowed. "A theory?" Cal smirked. "A theory that could make your energy grids 10 times more efficient. But hey, if you don't want to hear about it, feel free to toss me back into the labor pool. Your loss." Maltrak's gaze darkened, but curiosity flickered in his expression. He gestured for Cal to continue. Taking the opportunity, Cal laid out his findings, explaining how manipulating gravitational fields could exponentially increase energy output. He demonstrated with a small model he had smuggled in his pocket, a miniature version of the setup he'd tested. As he activated the device, it sent a ball spinning in a perfect arc, gathering speed with each pass through a simulated field. Maltrak's eyes widened slightly, impressed despite himself. "And what is it you want in exchange for this knowledge?" Cal didn't hesitate. "Golf. Unrestricted. No social credits. No permits. Across all human and alien territories." The room fell silent. Maltrak's expression shifted between amusement and irritation. "You would barter a revolutionary discovery for golf?" "It's not just golf," Cal replied. "It's freedom. It's a choice. Something you've taken from us." Maltrak stared at him for a long moment before finally nodding. "I'll take your demands to the Council, but if your theory proves false, the consequences will be severe." With that, Cal was released back to his quarters. Though he knew he was being closely watched, his discovery was now in alien hands, and the fate of his beloved game, and potentially the galaxy, rested on whether his ideas would hold up to scrutiny. Still, as he picked up his golf club and gave it a swing, a small smile crept across his face. "Let's see if they're ready for the long game," he said to himself, already preparing for what came next. Weeks passed as the Alien Council deliberated over Cal's proposal, testing his theories and replicating his experiments. The wait was agonizing, but Cal knew patience was a key part of the game, whether it was golf or dealing with intergalactic bureaucrats. He spent his days refining his ideas, preparing himself for the moment he'd have to stand before the council and defend his work. Finally, the summons came. Cal was escorted to the Grand Chamber of the Alien Council aboard their flagship, an imposing structure that loomed in orbit over Earth. The chamber was an intimidating blend of alien architecture and pulsating energy, filled with the faint hum of advanced technology. Rows of alien leaders, their glowing forms seated in floating chairs, observed him with cold curiosity. At the center stood Director Maltrak, who gestured for Cal to step forward. "Human," Maltrak began, his voice echoing in the chamber. "Your theories have been verified. The energy potential you've unlocked is significant. It could revolutionize interstellar propulsion and energy generation. But your demands remain absurd. Golf? Why not wealth or power?" Cal smirked, standing tall despite the overwhelming presence of the council. "Golf represents freedom, the right to do something purely for the joy of it. You've crushed humanity's spirit by making everything transactional. Restore our ability to choose, and you'll see just how much more we can offer." The council murmured among themselves, their alien voices a cacophony of clicks and hums. Finally, one of the elder leaders, a towering figure with crystalline skin, spoke. "Your terms are peculiar, but your discovery is too valuable to ignore. We will grant your request. Golf will no longer require social credits, and its practice will be unrestricted across all territories." The chamber fell silent. Cal allowed himself a small grin. "Glad we're on the same page." But as he turned to leave, Maltrak raised a hand. "There is one more matter to address. Your knowledge of gravitational energy manipulation is too dangerous to remain solely in human hands. We require your direct involvement in implementing this technology across the galaxy." Cal froze, realizing the scope of what they were asking. This wasn't just about him anymore. It was about humanity's role in the galaxy. He weighed his options carefully before nodding. "I'll help, but on one condition: humans remain equal partners in this. No more second-class status." The council exchanged glances before the elder leader spoke again. "Agreed. Humanity will have a seat at the table." Over the next months, Cal worked closely with alien engineers, demonstrating how to harness gravitational fields to revolutionize energy systems. His expertise, combined with the aliens' advanced technology, created a new era of efficiency and exploration. Ships traveled farther and faster than ever before, and entire colonies thrived on the limitless energy generated by the new systems. On Earth, the impact was immediate. Golf courses reopened, not as privileges, but as places of community and leisure. The game became a symbol of resilience, a reminder that even in the harshest of circumstances, humanity's spirit could prevail. One day, as Cal stood on the edge of a sprawling green, he watched a group of children, both human and alien, laughing as they swung golf clubs for the first time. He felt a swell of pride, knowing that his small act of rebellion had reshaped the galaxy in ways he never imagined. As he lined up his next shot, he glanced toward the sky, where alien ships streaked across the atmosphere, their engines powered by his discovery. With a steady swing, he sent the ball flying into the horizon. He muttered with a grin. This concludes the story. If you enjoyed it, please like the video and subscribe. If you especially enjoyed the golf aspect added to the sci-fi story, comment which part was your favorite. Thank you for listening.